This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Friday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And a loaded show today, all football, all the time, because we are in November, and that means a lot of football. So we will get to a couple NFL plays coming up inside the NFC, also some Mountain West football. But before we get to all of that, Lee, let's start in the Southeastern Conference for a blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
One of the few undefeated teams left in college football, the Texas A&M Aggies, third in the country behind Ohio State and Indiana, 8-0, going to Columbia to Faurot Field to take on MIZ-ZOU, the Tigers of Missouri, and the Aggies here, Lee, a 7-point road favorite. What do you like here?
Well, Missouri, known for a great journalism school. Know that because my daughter almost went there. Some of the best journalists on TV and print there. So football's been pretty good too lately, pretty good. But if you're Florida and you're thinking about Eli Drinkwitz, and I think he's at the top 2, top 3, they're thinking about hiring. Might want to think again. 0-6 versus top 10 teams. So they're good, but not quite good enough. Not good enough to pull these big upsets. And Texas A&M, in my opinion, if they're not the best team, certainly doesn't take long to call roll. They might be, outside of Ohio State, the only team that doesn't really have any weakness. They're going to face a Missouri team without Bo Prabella. And I think the type of quarterback that can do some damage, or a lot more damage against A&M, is a dual-threat quarterback. Bo Prabella's out for the season now. In steps Matt Zollers, and I think he's going to be really good. I will say that. But there's a big but. I don't think he's ready yet. He is big, strong, has a strong arm, not a runner. And that hurts them when you're playing Texas A&M because the pocket's going to break down some. Their two edge rushers are scary good. I mean, if you watched that game against LSU, they actually bludgeoned those two right tackles. I think both were freshmen for LSU. I felt sorry for the kids at some point. They were going around them, inside them, and then when that didn't work, we'll just push them down and go straight to the quarterback and bull rush. So this is a complete team, and he stares down receivers. So that's a problem here, I think, in this game. I think he might throw 1, maybe 2 interceptions, and you got to play a clean game, I think, if you want to beat A&M. A&M is so good. They went to LSU, and their quarterback, Marcel Reed, threw 2 picks in the first half. Like, doesn't mean anything. They just shooed that off like it was nothing and destroyed LSU so much that Mr. Kelly, former coach for LSU, ended up getting fired. He was losing it on the sideline. So they're a dominant team here. Zollers, like I said, is going to be a good quarterback. That's my prediction, but he's not ready yet. His top receiver, Brett Norfleet, who is a hybrid. He's a tight end. They put him in motion. Sometimes they flex him out. Game time decision with a shoulder injury. Even if he does play, don't think he's 100%. And then let's look at Texas A&M. Marcel Reed, I think right now, with Julian saying best 2 quarterbacks in the country. If I was picking and he goes in the 2026 draft, it's him and the receiver from Ohio State, Smith. I think they're both 1-2. I think he's a game changer. We'll see how he progresses here. And I don't think the Missouri defense is anything special. I think they're good, but not elite. And just can't seem to get stops when they need to against teams like Alabama and this week Texas A&M. So line here is at 7 points. I think the public's going to bite, thinking that Missouri came close against Alabama. They might get the job done. Not me here. I think Texas A&M is going to be my blowout special here. I think they get over Missouri and move to 9-0 for the first time since 1992. Look out. Aggies are strong.
And a couple games coming up. They have Sanford and South Carolina at home. Then they go to Austin to take on Texas to wrap up the regular season. What's your thoughts on this, Lee? How many SEC teams get in the college football playoff?
Probably 4.
And which ones, you think? A&M, A&M, Bama, Ole Miss, and Georgia? Is that what you're thinking?
Yeah. I don't know if there's a 5th. Maybe like in Oklahoma, they run the table. Something like that. I don't think Oklahoma's great, but they might sneak in. If they could, they'd love to keep the ACC out, but they get one no matter what, and that's all they're getting this year. So they certainly, we talked about they punished them in the polls. I mean, put Miami 18th, same record as Notre Dame, and they beat them. I thought Texas was really overseeded, so Texas might be able to sneak in there. And they almost have 5 losses. They very close. They could have lost at least 4 or 5 games, but the pollsters love Texas. So that's the way I see it. You see it any differently?
I mean, I'm okay with those teams. Obviously, Texas will be in the mix. You put Tennessee in there or no? There's Tennessee
no,
down.
No. I mean, the SEC would love to put 6 or 7 teams,
Yeah, and the other thing, too, is that when you talk about Miami and Notre Dame, and obviously Miami's had a couple bad losses. I mean, Louisville, the way they lost, Louisville's still a good team. And SMU, you lose in overtime. But I just don't get how head-to-head doesn't matter anymore. That you beat someone, if you have the same records, that should mean something.
Well, it's a combination of where you start and when you lose. And Notre Dame lost their first 2 games and now been on a roll. And I understand that to some extent, but there comes a point where you got to look at schedules, and they lost to 2 good teams, obviously Miami and also Texas A&M. Texas A&M was at home, so it's not like any of their wins have been great. They got a pretty easy schedule, so it'll be interesting to see how it plays out. Maybe Miami runs the table and can get back in there. I'm interested to see, like I said, what they do with Texas. I just don't think this Texas team is that great, or at least played up to their potential. And even if they run the table, I'm not so sure that they deserve to be in.
Because you're going to have 4 SEC and at least 3 Big Ten with Ohio State, Indiana, and Oregon. I guess that's fair to say, and that's it. There's nobody else is getting in. I'm going to assume.
Well, you'll have a Big 12 team. You'll have an ACC team. You got a team non-power 4. Yeah, probably going to be at least 5. It's probably going to be 5.
Yeah,
There's going to be 5 SEC. Who knows? If things break right, they could get 6. When you don't play head-to-head against a lot of teams, strange things can happen. So the bottom, those bottom feeders, like the Kentuckys and the South Carolina, them losing, to a lot of these teams, if they would have pulled an upset or 2, these teams, there was a lot of games like Texas went into overtime. I think things would have been clearer, but is for Texas winning twice on the road at Kentucky and at Mississippi State, I know it's a win, but probably should have lost both games.
The only thing I'll say for the Big 12, BYU plays Texas Tech this week. BYU's undefeated. Texas Tech has 1 loss. So, if, for instance, Texas Tech beats them, both teams have a loss. Do they both still get in? I mean, obviously, you'll have the Big 12 champion, but do you have a second team get in from there?
Possible. You possibly could. They're right there. What are they? 9, 8, and 9, 9 and 10, something like that. Yeah. So that's an under the radar game. I mean, 2 well-coached teams. Both teams hit. I would not want to face either of those teams' defenses. They are ferocious. They don't get beat by big plays. You look at players as far as where they're ranked, Pro Football Focus, and both those teams on defense have a lot of very highly rated players and get a lot of pressure on the quarterback. So if you're coming to play either of those teams on offense, you better buckle it up.
Coming up, we have an NFL blowout. We also have a Mountain West game we're going to take a look at, and an NFL lock. So all of that is straight ahead here on a busy Friday, all football right here on Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and we head into another week of the NFL, Week 10, and it's going to be a very fun weekend. And FanDuel is an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, You'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And what can you do? There's so many games in the NFL. You have the game coming up in Germany Sunday morning, the Falcons and the Colts. You want to get up early to put a wager on that game. Also, a couple other big games, Buccaneers and the Patriots. That should be a fun one from Tampa. And you look at maybe a Baker Mayfield passing prop, Drake May, who's one of the MVP favorites. Look at passing prop for him as well. And you have the player props, you have the sides, the totals, the money lines, and all these games. Also, the futures you can look at. MVP at FanDuel. Buffalo's Josh Allen's the favorite. New England's Drake May is second. Patrick Mahomes of the Chiefs is third. And that could move around. It's moved around all season long. And maybe you want to get some value there on some of those players. Also, you can look at Super Bowl odds as well as the AFC and the NFC champions. So many picks that you could make on FanDuel, and also college football, college basketball underway, NBA, NHL, so many things. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue Locked On Bets here on a Friday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. So let's move now to the NFL, and a big game inside the NFC West in Santa Clara between the Rams and the 49ers. And now time for another blowout special.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
So in the first meeting between the Rams and the 49ers, San Francisco jumped out to a quick 14-0 lead that Thursday night in Week 5. And the Niners were all beat up offensively. Mac Jones started again. George Kittle was out. Plenty of players were out when Chris McCaffrey played, and he had a touchdown early in that game. Rams fell behind, but then they made a comeback, forced overtime. They fumbled the ball at the 1 at the end of regulation, but somehow got the ball back and kicked the game-tying field goal. And then San Francisco had the first possession in overtime. They kicked the field goal. Rams went down. Sean McVay had a 4th and 1. They called a timeout. After the timeout, they had a terrible play call. They got stuffed, and the game was over. San Francisco won as an 8.5-point dog. So fast forward to now, and the Rams are laying 4 on the road at San Francisco. Couple things here, Lee. The 49ers, they have covered 1 time this season after a win, and they're coming off a victory over the Giants last week. The Giants, who have been beat up due to the injury bug. San Francisco had to get that one. They got it. You had them last week. Now, the 49ers have gone 7 straight games, not basing my pick on this, but they've gone 7 straight games, alternating wins and losses. So they've gone win-loss, win-loss, win-loss for the last 7 weeks, coming off a win over the Giants. Now, if you go back to that first game, the Niners and the Rams in L.A., San Francisco took a 14-0 lead, I think, early in the second. After that, the Niners were held to 4 field goals the rest of the way, and one of them was like a 58 or 59-yard field goal. So the Rams' defense did shut down San Francisco after a bit of a slow start. The Niners went down the field and scored immediately. And the Rams, so many opportunities in that game, and they couldn't finish it off. Now you're a shorter favorite here on the road. They've won the last few seasons in San Francisco, and I get that doesn't mean much here. But the Rams' defense has stepped up recently, and the Niners, it's just been so up and down with all the injuries having to deal with it. And Mac Jones has played well. I don't want to take away from that. But his passing numbers have also gone down a little bit recently the last few weeks. We're going to go with the Rams here, and we're going to lay the points with them on the road against the 49ers as our blowout special for Sunday afternoon.
You didn't use the common terminology in gambling, zigzag theory, sit back and forth, or win-loss, zigzag. And I can see it. And also, they're just not beating good teams. They're beating the bad teams. They're taking care of them. And I just think it was a fluke. I think the Rams saw all those injuries in that first game and just were not ready to play. You know, sometimes, you know, it happens. You think, oh, we're going to take advantage of this team, all these injuries. But these are professional football players, not like you're playing college kids. So the backups are good also, and they had something to prove. They had a good game plan. I thought the play calling was really crisp, and the Rams just weren't ready mentally and physically in that first game. I think they'll be ready here in this game. And the key is you got to stop San Francisco on first down. They get 5, 6, 8 yards, and they throw to the backside of the backfield. If you can limit that, their receivers don't scare me at all anymore. Kittle's always banged up. I think he's a shell of himself. So I'm riding with you. We're riding together here on the Rams over the 49ers.
Yeah, ride the Rams coming up Sunday. And you know, you said the play calling and everything. Like Kyle Shanahan outcoached Sean McVay in that game. McVay, there wasn't great. And they still had so many chances to win that game. So we'll see what happens here coming up on Sunday afternoon. All right, let's go back now to Saturday night and the Mountain West. San Diego State and Hawaii. That's right, the late night special. It's time now for our wrong team favorite.
What the fuck? WTF.
The Aztecs of San Diego State at 7-1, and they take on Hawaii. And big game for San Diego State here, Lee, because they have Boise State on deck at home. Don't want to trip up here. And the Aztecs, touchdown favorite over the Rainbow Warriors. What do you like here?
Yeah, the one state I haven't been to, Hawaii, do want to go there. Used to love watching their games on TV in their old stadium of the Combo Baseball Football Stadium, but no more. They play on campus. Still a tough place to play. I mean, taking that trip, this isn't like, traveling one or two time zones. So it's like, even though you're in San Diego, it's like going from the West Coast to the East Coast. And last week, Hawaii came close. They played really hard and just came up short against San Jose State. Why? San Jose State has some next-level receivers, and they go vertically and also do a lot of crossing routes, and their DBs couldn't cover them, and when the ball was in the air, couldn't make plays. Well, now you don't have to worry about it. San Diego State doesn't have much of a passing game, doesn't have any receivers, nowhere close to the top two receivers that San Jose State had. So your weakness, I don't think, is going to be exposed here. Also, San Diego State, they're just one of these teams that plays really good defense and wants to force you into mistakes. I think the hurry-up offense of Hawaii is going to give problems to this San Diego State defense. So San Diego State is really good on defense, top 10 in a bunch of categories, but sometimes it's all about the matchup. So I like the matchup here with Hawaii. I like their young freshman quarterback and great special teams. I think there's a story about their kicker. If I remember correctly, something like he's a transfer, had never kicked the ball. I think he played soccer or something like that, and doing a great job from another country. So they only real weakness I see their DBs making plays on the ball. And like I said, not going to get exposed here. So I think this is nice here. Wrong team favorite, Hawaii, +7. I am winning this game here straight up, 31-28.
And we'll see how Hawaii bounces back. They lose last week to San Jose State and in a shootout, 45-38. So now let's see how they do here against San Diego State in this Mountain West showdown on Saturday night. Coming up, we have one more NFL game to get to. The Lions and the Commanders as they meet up, and we'll see if Washington has any bodies left for that matchup. They've lost to everyone. We'll talk about that coming up as we continue here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Friday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And to wrap things up here, the Sunday afternoon tilt in D.C., Detroit visits Washington. It's time now for our Lock of the Day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the Lock of the Day.
The Washington Commanders, they are 3-6. They are without Jaden Daniels and some important offensive weapons due to injury. And oh, by the way, they're taking on a Lions team that lost to the Commanders last year in the NFC Divisional Playoffs, which I'm sure Dan Campbell does not have any bulletin board material or is not using as motivation at all this week. He's probably keeping it nice and quiet for this game. So, Lee, what do you like here? Detroit against Washington, the Lions, an 8-point favorite here on the road.
Wow, what a difference a year makes. So Washington last year goes to the NFC Championship game, and wow, I mean, talk about things going right. They had one starter, 1 out of 22 missed the season. This year, I mean, you need a scorecard to figure out all the losses. I mean, it's just incredible. Just shows you what the NFL is all about as far as what they say, not for long, the injuries, the toll sometimes. So you got to get lucky. Last year, Detroit, also, they were rolling along. I thought they were the better team. And if they were, with the full complement of players, I think they handle Washington. But they were down either 7 or 8 starters from the beginning of the year to that playoff game. Can't win at that level. So you have that rematch there. And trust me, they're thinking about it. Dan Campbell will remind them. I like having a lot of data. You have a lot of data as far as a coach on Dan Campbell. After a loss, how good is he? Well, he's only won the next 9 games against the spread. Not straight up, against the spread. So, the practice probably a little bit tougher. Demands a lot of his players on time. Players coach, but he is also demanding. I've seen him when he was the interim coach here for the Dolphins, and I'm impressed with him. Don't know if he's going to win a Super Bowl, but I like him in this situation. Quarterback situation, I think with Daniels being out, Marcus Mariota's fine. And against Kansas City, they had one of the best halves ever. But they still only scored 7 points in that half. So when they play a pretty good defense, and I still think Detroit's defense is pretty good, not great, he has trouble. And I think that they're going to have 12, 14 plays that they can maybe script out and start with, and that'll be a great start. And after that, they're in trouble. So I like Detroit's weapons. Amon St. Brown, I mean, playing him over on player props has been money this year. Gibbs, running back, dynamic. I like players that can run a ball, catch a ball, break a tackle, and go the distance. And they have a lot of those players. And Washington at the running back and receiver position don't have it. Marcus Mariota is going to be running for his life because of the pass rush too. I like Detroit here. We're going to go all the way up here on a Friday. Level 3 lock, Detroit Lions over the rudderless Washington Commanders.
And the Commanders, they have one really good win this year, was against the Chargers. They were down 10-0, came back and won. Besides that, beating the Raiders and the Giants, not much. And again, you kind of felt like this crash was going to happen after Washington. Like you said, injuries didn't hit them last year, and they had a lot of games that went their way. Jalen Hurts got injured early on in that Eagles game that the Commanders won at home, the Bears Hail Mary game. So things are kind of reverting back to what Washington is, that they're not bad, but they're kind of more of a middle of the road team. So we'll see how that one goes coming up on Sunday in Washington. All right, Lee, big weekend coming up. November's underway, and NFL, college football, UFC, basketball, everything. What's going on with Paramount Sports?
All right, well, first I want to mention the UFC because what happened as far as a potential fixed fight. So they've got to earn my trust back. And you know what? I want them to earn my client's trust back. So here's what I'm going to do. I found 6 real strong fights, including a 35-unit max wager. We're 25-13 on our 35 to 50 unit releases in the UFC. How about this? Get ready. I hope everyone's sitting down. 6 selections, not 66 or 36, $6. It's a super saver pack. 6 selections in the UFC, $6. You heard me correct. $1 a selection in the UFC. So never done the UFC, give it a try. If you have in the past, time to jump back on. We've won 16 of the last 22 cards, lost the last card. I'm really good after I lose a card on the comeback. Football, our NFL Sunday golden ticket, 5 selections every Sunday. We text them out to you by Friday at noon, and that's just $197, 4 weeks of 5 selections there, and won a 27-8 run over the last 35 selections. And not November, call it November. You can get every game through the end of the month. We're on a roll. Action, hitting, knocking down plays. Ohio and Toledo, back-to-back nights. Got to do what you got to do to get wins. So we're on a roll there. Another winning week, looks like. So you want to hop on board there? Normally $497. Use coupon code SAVE200. Just $297. Check out all the specials. Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as the podcast version on Spotify and Apple or wherever you get your podcasts. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Have a great weekend. Have a profitable weekend. And we will talk to you on Monday right here on Locked On Bets as part of the Locked On Podcast Network.